Hello once again. This is Pastor John Carlo, Senior Pastor of the Christian Pentecostal Church of Staten Island, New York. And we're in the study of the devil, which is an amazing part of the Bible when we see who he really is and what he's doing in the world even today. We started last week talking about different names that were given him. And each of them tell us one thing worse than the other. For example, his first name is Satan, right? And it's an interesting word because it means he's our adversary. He's the person that's trying to hurt us. He's trying to do everything he can to destroy God's people and God's creation. In fact, he's mentioned 52 times in the Bible, and he's also called the devil 35 times in the Bible. But again, all of these things show us something about his character. One of the things that's interesting, he's called the prince of the power of the air. Very hard to understand what that means, but look what it tells us in Ephesians 2:2. Wherein in times past ye walked according to the course of this world, talking to people, according to the prince of the power of the air, and the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So where we see disobedience of all types, we see the work of Satan, the devil. We also see he's called the God of this age, right? And it's interesting that that word should be used for him, but he is the one that people in their behavior really are following and are being led by him. Look what it says in 2 Corinthians 4:4 about him. In whom the God of this world, with a small g, hath blinded the minds of them which believe. Isn't this amazing? And those who believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. The devil doesn't want anyone to start looking for the Lord or doing anything that would be positive. He wants to control and kill and join him in hell, unfortunately, in the lake of fire forever. He has a title called the King of Death. Wow. In Hebrews 2:14 it says, for as much as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part in the same, that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, and that is the devil. And we know that for a fact that he's trying to get people to kill themselves, to die in some way that are away from God, and join him, of course, in the lake of fire. He's also called the prince of this world, which is interesting. In John 12:31 it says, now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. Again, speaking about the devil. In Ephesians 6:12 it says he's the ruler of darkness. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, the Bible tells us, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness. This is the devil and all the angels that followed him. And it says against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wow. Then there's some interesting descriptions of him, and relative to things that were in place at the time the Bible was written. He's called Leviathan, which was supposed to be a sea humanity, a monster in the sea. And in the Old Testament, in Isaiah 27:1, it says, in that day the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, that wicked piercing serpent, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. And again, talking about the final battle against the devil and all his cohorts. It seems that he goes on to also, and this is interesting, we said that he is darkness, right? It also tells us in Isaiah 14:12 that he is a light bearer, a shining one, right? And again, he was beautiful when he was created in heaven. He was shining, he was a musical expert and everything, and he gave it all up, unfortunately, to become God's adversary. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which thou weakest and weakest the nations? Again, he was in heaven in a very high position, next to God and Christ and so on. And it tells us he was called the son of the morning. Imagine that, like the sun coming up. But unfortunately, he went the other way, and now he's the darkness of this world. He's also called in Revelations 12:7 now the devil, the dragon. And there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, another word for Satan, and the dragon fought and his angels. Imagine this battle going on in heaven. And of course, in all ways, no matter what Satan tries to do or win over, he's a loser. Here's one that we can understand, the deceiver. He's excellent at deceiving people to do wrong and make it look like it's right. It goes on in Revelation 20:10, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall also be tormented day and night forever and ever. That's his final resting place, right? And again, he's not only a deceiver, but he deceives himself as well. I mean, we haven't been to heaven. We haven't seen the magnificence of it and God and so on. And here's a man, or I should say a creation, that was able to see all the power of God and all the beautiful things that God created and everything, and yet he turns around and he tries to overthrow God of all people. Another name for him is called Apollyon, which means a destroyer, and he is good at that. He wants to destroy people, nations, everything. In Revelations 9:11 it says, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit of hell, whose name in Hebrew tongue is Abion, but in the Greek word he had this name been Apollyon. So we see another name for the devil. In Matthew 12:24 tells us another name he's called by, Beelzebub, the prince of demons. Wow. Remember, the demons are the fallen angels that followed after him. But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, they're talking about Jesus of all people, this fellow doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils. What a terrible thing to say about our Lord, right? Another similar word is Belial in 2 Corinthians 16:15. And what accord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with infidels? Again, we see this Belial, again, a type of demonic description of what he's like. All vileness, all ruthlessness, all rape, and everything you can think, murder. This is what the devil likes to stir up. He's called the wicked one in Matthew 13:38. The field is the world. Jesus gave this parable. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. And unfortunately, many people desire and end up following him all the way to heaven. I'm going to stop here. We'll continue this list, and we're going to see he has many, many names, each describing his nastiness, his rule, and how he treats people and how he causes people to do all kinds of terrible things to each other and to themselves. God bless you. We'll see you next week.